Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You reached the Boho Info News and Talk Show. Today is, what is today? I don't know what day is it. What is today, guys? You guys know what day it is? Today's Wednesday. And we're going to be talking about some interesting information for those that are going to see high prices at the store. And we're going to be discussing our strategy, maybe for those who are going to be going through the process, no matter if you're poor or middle class or rich. We're going to talk about it all together about how it's going to affect us all in our back pockets. If you got the subject line of what I'm going to be talking about, you kind of get the feeling of everything. Make sure that you tune into my Twitter account and my Telegram page because information is coming out fast from the war situation that you all know about, and things are changing almost on an hourly basis with information, and it's getting to be interesting. Here's the thing: everybody has to come. Okay, before I get into it, we make no claims medically, legally, or otherwise on any of our shows. We always give our 2 cents worth under the freedom of speech. We're located in Florida, being protected under the freedom of speech. And we tell you guys, do your own research. Maybe you come up with the same thing we do. I don't know. You guys well know that I've been under the weather. I'm still under the weather, doctor's orders wise. They've actually had to give me tests on things. I'm curious to see the outcome of what's all that about, but we'll see when that comes. I'll keep you informed of my health at that time. But right now, there's some interesting stuff happening in the world. There's a lot of controversy with the stuff happening over there in the war, and all countries are going to be coming into the war. Okay? Here's the thing: we have a war against the left, a war against communists, and a war against Antifa. Because why? That's all part of that stuff. Okay. So we're going to be discussing basically survival tactics, I guess, maybe, and a little bit of prepping tactics. Because for what I'm seeing on market stuff and other things, we're going to be seeing some severe increases, not only at the gas pump, with a lot of goods on the shelves. And I don't care if you're a teenager, I don't care if you're a senior citizen or middle class or poor or a working person. This is going to affect us all. Okay? It's going to affect us all. So, yeah, if you see me scooting back and forth on my chair, it's because I'm in a little pain. Which I should be taking something for, but I'm not. I have my glass of water here with me. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about that. I am going to give links in the show as well as at the end of the show where a lot of my information is coming from, so I can show proof of what I'm talking about and my links for it. Get yourself a piece of paper, a pen, and a pencil, and we're going to be talking about all this stuff on basically the Great Depression. And for those who haven't gone through it, I've had my grandfather and grandmother go through it, and they told me everything. And I promised you guys a long time ago that I would get to it. And I think now is the time to get to it because we're heading in that direction. And here's the thing: it's going to be worse than the Great Depression, according to everything I'm looking at, financial wise, information, deep root stuff, a lot of things. So if you've never camped in your home before, you better figure it out. For those who know how to prep for a disaster, think about doing that about 5 to 10 fold. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know how to get into the show, but bear with me. get through it. But we need to first talk about some of the information that is coming out of that area of the U.K area. Which one I'm talking about. But we had in just a few hours here saying about a repeat process. Remember, I tell you guys and teach you guys about a repeat process on how the left keeps repeating their mistakes or kind of makes variants from the same old mistakes that they had before. Well, this is like one of those things. And through my show, you guys better get your thinking caps on and get your piece of paper and pen, jot notes down, rewind the show. It's going to be posted later, hopefully in Twitter and other things. And you guys can go through it and put your thinking caps on to really think about the real situation and issues at hand. Because a lot of people are listening to their local TV and believing all this nonsense on national news. They're only touching like surface stuff that, yes, there is people getting killed on it. Yes, people are getting injured. Yes, people are losing their homes and the economy is going belly up over there. But they're not really seeing the deeper revolution that's really happening. And it boils down to freedom. For freedom for you to be able to live. Not just because of speech or anything else, and not saying that none of them go by the Constitution that the U.S. do. Okay, they have their own ways of things over there, and a lot of you guys out there, when you listen to me, refuse to do the research. Refuse to do the research. Whether you're lazy, you want everything on a silver platter, or you just don't have it. Well, your excuse is that you don't have time when you need to make time for it, because it's out there, okay? And I know you're going to say, well, there's a lot of disinformation or whatever and all that stuff, okay? But here's the thing. When you have AI technology basically controlling all your social media, of course, they're going to say it's misinformation because the AI is not agreeing to the outcome of what they want the agenda to be. See, so I'm going to show you this. I'm going to give you the link to it as well. Okay. But we're going to briefly talk about this, and then we're going to get into why we're going to be talking about a lot of other things to deal with survival and tactics and going through a Great Depression and things we need to look at a little bit different than what really happened in the Great Depression in the 1920s and then what happened in the 30s and all that stuff, right? So here you see the title. This is the alphabet soup that starts with a C, maybe breeding the Nazi terror in the UKAN area right here. Okay, you see that in blue, right? There's going to be certain words through my show that I can't define because of the censorship. Okay, just flat up. So if I say it weird, it's that because of that reason. Now, yesterday, if you guys go to my Telegram page, or even today, if you go to my Telegram page, which I will deal with right now, you guys can look this up right now while I'm talking on the show. But if you go to my Telegram page, you look for an area in there where it, in my actual Telegraph page, will actually have information on how they spotted trucks or tanks. I'm sorry, not trucks. Well, trucks and tanks maybe. That, remember before we reported where some had the Z mark on it? Well, now they found another one with a different kind of mark on it. They're saying the other ones that are marked differently now are supposedly Antifa communist run. They also found certain cells over there in the UK area and Wusha area that have that the markings, okay, of communist or neo-Nazism, okay, and it's something that you have to worry about. And they supposedly had tanks go through UK area and basically confiscated a lot of the Wushan tanks and stuff like that and other military equipment. So Antifa is actually powering up with the equipment that they're being left behind. Now, in this article, it says here in this article, and I'll give you the link In fact, I'll give you the link on a couple articles that we're going to be talking about right now. If anybody's out there listening to me, please share the show because this is a really important show. I don't do shows too often because of the censor and all that, but it's really important that we need to share this information. And we'll be talking about it a lot more. There's so much information. But anyway, so in 2015, the alphabet soup that starts with C, they've been supposedly training anti-Russian groups in the UK area, okay? And it says here, we know points to the likelihood that includes the neo-Nazi inspiring far-right terrorists of the world. See, so they're calling the far right, even back then, supposedly Nazism, but they're not, okay? They're really not, okay? I mean, there is some groups, don't get me wrong, there is some bad, there's some good, you know, like I say, there's two sides of the coin, okay? But it's been documented in history, in the U.S. history in a way, even in the 1960s, that worked with the Cuban anti-Fidel Castro radicals who turned Miami into a hub of terrorist violence. That was in the 1960s. Now, I don't know how many out there remember that situation, okay? Or lived through the 60s on that, or was in that area then, but you can probably kind of give a little oomph on it, okay? And you can research it for those who don't. But in the 80s, okay, an agency supported and encouraged Islamic radicalism in the Afghan blanket area, who would go on to orchestrate the September 11th thing, okay, and then in 2010, then Washington back Syria. So here's the thing. You see all this just in this two paragraphs, okay, of this article, that there's been a repeat process of pushing neo-Nazism. Okay, they're blaming it on the right, but it really isn't the right. It's the left that it is the neo-Nazis, right along with the liberal right. Okay, so if you remember a while back, we were talking about how many Republicans were traitors and didn't vote for things because there was 13 or 20 of them that didn't vote for things. I can guarantee they're liberals. And if they're liberals, they're connected to the left and probably connected to, like I say, everything else, including the neo-Nazism stuff. Okay. Some may not, but some probably is, right? All right. So here it says here, based on a new report added to another list of fatalities, they're now adding the Butane area as being neo-Nazism areas. Okay. Now, in past news, you guys heard about at least in social media, maybe even on your local news, they're starting to talk about it, about biolabs being blown up in different areas of Ukraine. If you notice, it's all around the borders of Ukraine, okay? And it is what it is, you know? A lot of them are burning documents. They were caught, the UK or Ukrainian embassy there was burning documents, dealing with those labs, hiding the information or burning the information. I mean, here's the other thing. I'll give you guys an update. Chernobyl, underneath there, they found servers that are connecting to all the biolabs, connecting to the left, connecting to the Pfizer and the Moderna and the COVID and the vaccines and the, you name it, you know, it's all in there, you know, it's all there. I mean, it's like a colossal mountain. They, you know, if they burn the paperwork, they still got the servers and the hard drives, right? And that's exactly what Russia did. Russia went in there. They did what they did. I've got to say it for what it is. And this is all my opinion, but you guys can research it too, that Russia went in there not as a bad guy. Unfortunately, there was people getting killed and things like that, and, you know, blowing up towns and losing their livelihood. But, you know, everything comes at a price, unfortunately, to get the truth. And I think that's exactly what happened. They found these labs, which is a confirmation of a secret ops service situation. They've, you know, found the servers underneath Chernobyl, which is another base of information. which is also probably a special ops situation. And then the embassy burning stuff, which is confirming everything. So, everybody's saying, oh, Ukraine is innocent. Well, yeah, there's innocent people working there in the country. And there's a lot of, innocent citizens that probably didn't know none of this. Okay. Because why? A lot of it's underground. In past shows, I told you about the DUMBs and what's happening with that. But, here's the other part of it. You got to look at the money trails on our politicians on the left and the liberals. If you reverse all the money trails on the left and the liberals, you'll find what you're looking for. And it is connecting to that Ukraine area. Okay. A lot of different things, not because of the oil and everything else, but because of all the other stuff and the money laundering that's happening like a big world mafia. Okay. So I'm trying to put it in layman's terms the best I can, as fast as possible as I can, because there's a lot of information I got to get through. And I want you guys get your thinking caps on and kind of question things and research it yourself as well. Okay. I've given you guys the links. I think it's streaming on the bottom of your stuff here, maybe. Yeah, it is. Okay. And here's the thing. Everybody's saying, oh, Russia's bad. They're going to blow up the world. You know what? I think Putin is a very smart man in a way. He's risking his life, his country's life, to bring out the truth. Now, you've got to look at something. I was talking to my military dad, and I'm like, okay, let's think about something. What other country in the world? Right now, we have probably one of the weakest presidents we've ever had in history in the United States. And it goes along with the Nazism. Okay, it goes along with all that left stuff. Okay, I'm just saying for what it's worth. If the kettle's black, it's black. It is what it is. But here's the thing. If, we don't have strong GOP or a strong Republican Party that can stop Biden in his tracks or the Democrats in their tracks by impeachment, okay? Here's the question, why are we paying any tax-paying dollars to any of them? They all need to be impeached. The whole party needs to be impeached, right? At the same time, though, there's a few that grew some balls, okay? And, they're the ones kind of, poking their nose up. That's great, talking about it, calling people on the carpet for it, bringing out the information about it, bringing out the truth about it. But here's the thing. Republican Party, GOP of the United States, Senate, House, if you're listening to me, okay? I can probably do your job a little bit better than you can, because here's the thing. I'm a no-holds-barred person, okay? I give a person three chances and that's it, and they strike out usually, unless they show good faith and a good heart and a good soul, okay? Now, from what I'm seeing, I haven't seen none of the Republicans start to bring up a thing where they can impeach Biden and Harris and all the rest of them yet. There is so much crime here to impeach them with. I'm really shocked that the Republican Party hasn't done it yet. I don't give a crap if he's been in office for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, or 4 years. The man needs to be out of his position and stripped of all clearances and stripped of all money. When there's corruption at this level, beyond the federal level that goes globally, all politicians linked to it need to be stripped financially and seized exactly the same way like they did with Russia. Now think about that. You guys know from past reports, for those who've been on social media or news or whatever, okay, that they, Visa, MasterCard cut off their stuff over there, right? Okay. And other countries are pulling out, like McDonald's, over 850 units from Moscow and area, Russia area. And there's other companies doing the same thing, okay? So it's just a domino effect. But here's the thing. Putin don't need none of that. He's got enough oil to sell. And this is the exact conversation I had with my father. Russia has enough oil to trade for gold to the Saudis back and forth. Right now, I know for a fact from past articles and things that I've read and researched that Russia has over 6,000 pounds of gold. That's enough alone just for his military for anything in the future. Now, if he takes his oil and basically hauls down to Saudi Arabia there and does a trade with them for gold, bingo. He don't need any of you guys, right? Now, here's the other thing I want you to put your thinking caps on. Knowing how much it's going to cost to basically bring out the truth and go to war to other countries that have corruption, you need a big army, right? Okay. Look at the size of the army of our armed services and things of the U.S. compared to Russia, okay? And Russia has more than the U.S., I believe. So, and he can build more because he has the gold to do more. Now, the biggest army otherwise is what? China. Well, how close is Russia to China? They can get equipment that way by selling the gold to China, and bingo, they've got the equipment. See? And there's no countries in between that have any kind of U.S. military bases. If you look at a strategic point on a military map of where all U.S. bases are in Europe, mostly of them are in the south over to the west area of all that country area. There's hardly very little to the east until you hit the Pacific. Now I'm thinking like as if I was a president maybe or something, not this one, but like a Trump man kind of thing, maybe, that if all this happens, right, maybe Russia's saying, because we already know, and I've already read a lot of the articles and documents and things that, Trump has been talking to Putin. If you guys remember a while back, I've posted all this information too, by the way, that I'm talking about in my Telegraph, as well as Twitter. So you can go back into the archives or back research on it and look and find that stuff. Okay. But look in both those directions because that's where the heavy duty information is in Twitter and Telegraph. But what I'm saying is all this stuff that's happening, you have to have a good financial side. You have to have a stern leader. You have to have one that's business savvy as a leader, as well as military savvy to take over a country that is corrupt. I believe that is what's happening with Russia. Russia has everything on point except for a couple things, okay? And he's trying to clean out the truth to bring out what is the corruption. Here's the thing. I think Putin and Trump has talked strategically wise. Remember a while back, Trump gave the soccer ball to Putin, right? Well, what was in that soccer ball? The secrets of things? Maybe it's everything like they did over there at the funeral, at the Bush funeral, saying, hey, we got it all kind of thing in their little notes that were in the program for the, death of Senior Bush there. Remember all the family members and all that and the past POTUSes, but, and their families. But think about it. Where's the secrets in the soccer ball that, was given to Putin about how strategically we're going to change the world by bringing, not only getting the proof of all the corruption, but then they're going to deal with the money trails. And that's where supposedly here in this article, it says that the alphabet soup that starts with C, okay, agency, has been training in the Ukrainian area for a while, since 2015. So we already know that there's corruption in our own government with the alphabet soup agencies. And I'm just saying, what if, okay? that this corruption is fueled by the left side, the Democratic side, which is backed up by Soros. And you guys seen the articles in my Telegraph on Soros, okay? But also the grassroots organizations like what? Antifa. Now you can go look at my Telegraph page and boom, there's your Antifa proof because there's tanks marked for such. Okay? So I just wanted to say that because I know there's a lot of people saying don't be bad to Ukraine and all this. Well, I'm not being bad to the people that are dying and that are hurt and don't have any food and don't have shelter. No, I love those people. But we have to bring out this corruption and clean it up. I mean, this is like a perfect example of when you clean your house. Do you keep if you have a tile floor or cement floor, do you keep the dirt on the floor until it basically becomes 3 inches deep? Or do you clean it? The same thing with carpet. Well, this is the same scenario, I believe, that's happening with Russia. I don't believe Russia wants to go to a nuclear thing because this is going to hurt not only Russia, even though Russia is financially set because they got their own gold and stuff and they got a way to get more gold, okay? And I don't think they want to lose their citizens, okay? Or even China because Russia's right next door to China. Okay, so I don't think that's happening. I think what they're trying to do, and I think here's the thing to the global leaders of Putin and China, the China president and everybody else, okay? I honestly really think that they're trying to blame the U.S. when it really isn't the U.S.'s fault. They actually need to go after particular Democrats and the left side of the Democratic people. Because not all of U.S. is involved or bad on this situation. It's only the left. As I look through it through a fine-tooth comb and get you guys to think about things, you got to look at this kind of picture because they're not going to talk about on your local news because your local news has been bought and paid for by Soros. Just remember, like the COVID, right? They bought and paid for that on all your stuff of pushing everything. And now look what happened. It's falling apart, right? Well, that's the same scenario that's happening here with the Russia and the Ukraine area. And you got to remember strategically where Ukraine is in Europe. It's in that central little ball area of all these other countries. They got all these little countries off to the south and to the west, and these big countries like Russia and China over to the north and the east, I guess, or west. I don't know. I don't have a map in front of me, but you get what I'm saying, right? But they even said here, states in the 2020 report from West Point U.S. Military Combating Terrorism Center, the individuals have spoken and written how training available in Ukraine might assist them in their parliamentary-style activities at home. See, so our armed services even know about certain things about that. See, and maybe this is why Biden didn't want to bring troops there because it would confirm our own corruption within our own government, trying to create a war with the far radical left grassroots organizations in the Ukraine area. You follow me? It says here in 2018, the alphabet soup that starts with an F and F, David from Azov believed that participated in training and radicalizing U.S.-based white supremacy organizations, including the White Supremacy Rise Above movement, prosecuted and planned assaulted counter-protest far-right events, including Charlottesville, Unite the Right. And there again, remember, even the right side has bad grassroots situations. So that's what I'm saying. The right side of people need to know the good and bad, even on the right. It says while they perpetrate the Christchurch mosque massacre didn't travel to Ukraine, he claimed he clearly took inspiration from the far-right movement and wore symbols used by Azov members while carrying out the attack. So if you remember, see this right here, that word AZOV, members. If you remember in my Telegraph page, I had tanks marked with a Z. Then you had now recently new tanks marked with another marking. Let me see, what was it? I don't have it in front of me, but it's in my Telegraph page. Let me see here if I can pull it up. Give me a minute. Let me go back to it. If I can get it, bear with me. But you guys got to remember, everything has codes and symbolisms. Pay attention to the symbolisms. Even when it comes to this war over there. Remember the Super Bowl? Here's another thing I've got to tell you real quick. Super Bowl, who won? LA. What were their colors? Blue and gold. That was a confirmation that we were going to go to war with Ukraine. Okay. You guys can look that up on my Twitter. It's in there. Or I mean, not Twitter, Telegram page, sorry. I had to think which one it was in. You're going to have to scroll back quite a bit. Let's see. I don't know if I captured it or not. It's way back in my archives of this. I don't have time right now. But anyway, you'll have to check it on your own time. But there was tanks recently marked with a different type of marking. And that one was, they're calling that one an Antiva situation. So here's the thing. We have, since Biden didn't want to bring in troops, here's strategically thinking now, okay, how the Democrats cover their sneaky scenarios, okay? Since Biden didn't want to bring in troops to Ukraine, what they did instead is they took grassroots organizations from the far left, radical far left grassroots organizations, and they sent them over there. Okay, now think about this. What if not only they have the left side grassroots organizations, but they have the right side grassroots organizations over there in the Ukraine and Russia area, right? And the ones that are creating, or the ones that are for Ukraine, I guess, are the ones that are left far radical grassroots organization people, okay? And the ones that are on the right, maybe they're helping Russia, okay? And that's why we have this war there, because everybody in the surface of television news, okay, is only seeing this surface war happening, okay, when it's really the grassroots organization war, okay, with each other. This is a repeat process of the far left. They've been doing it since when? 2010, I said, or whatever. Yeah. Or earlier, maybe. But yeah, so here's the thing. How are we being that we're going to fight Russia when we don't have to be in the country, instead of not being in the country as armed services? They bring in radical left grassroots organizations to do their dirty work for them and fight against Russia, right? When Russia is trying to pull out all this information and proof and documents, and which is what Ukraine burned up, documents and servers and hard drives from Chernobyl to prove. Now you're going to say, well, why did they do all that? Right? Why did they do all that? They did that because they're trying to cut off the money trails to the Democratic Party, the Democratic Party's corruption, and all the grassroots organizations. Once they do that, it's connected to who higher up? Soros. Now, I already know Soros is on the hotbed. They even got Schultz on the hotbed right now, which is higher than him. Schultz is ordering Soros what to do, and then Soros is ordering down to the Democratic Party what to do. See the domino effect? You can do that in reverse. So Russia is trying to pull out all this proof, and they already know the UN is corrupt as well. And so they've got to be very careful with this information that they have and the proof. See? And it's kind of like a global blackmailing kind of scheme against that, which is like a mafia scheme, right? And interesting strategically, because I've taken the government classes myself, and it's very interesting to see what's going on a daily basis of all this stuff. And it's probably interesting to you guys, I'm sure. But I believe that's what's happening. And strategically saying, in my opinion, once Putin pulls us out, then I'm sure he can get a hold of his own hackers, buy them from China, okay, and other places, maybe in his own country. I don't know. I'm just saying a what if, you know. He could actually sit there and, like a light switch, shut off everything financially that is connected to the Democratic Party, including all foundations, trusts, grassroots organizations, philanthropy groups, you name it. And I think that's where he's heading. Not sure, because I'm not inside his mind or country. But if he was a really good strategic military person, I think that's what he would do, because there's no other countries more powerful than China. And since China is more for the left side, and they've made major contributions financially to the Democratic Party and their grassroots organizations and their foundations and their trust and so on, you can't, China couldn't do the job. So, and you got to watch Trump on his past stuff, who he was connected to. Was he connected to China more or Russia more? He was connected to Russia more. Why was Russia? Because Russia was more business savvy. They were, better at certain capabilities of things. I'll just put it that way, than the other country. And so I think that's what's happening. And everybody's thinking, well, this is going to go to a world war. I don't believe so. I don't feel it myself. I prayed to God about it. He's not giving me any indication on this at all. Yes, I'm taking a sip. So that's where we rely on that. And that's just my opinion, okay? But after, I haven't been doing a show or anything for a couple weeks. I was going through a lot of information, a lot of documents, a lot of whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, even when I've taken strategic classes myself on things, government class, I think it would be a great move, honestly, between the two of them. And you got to also remember something too, that a lot of you guys are forgetting. That Ukraine area is loaded and centralized location for human trafficking, pedophile ring stuff, and you name it, okay? And I have to say all that because it is what it is. If you look at all the other countries around, and if you follow the human trafficking trails in the globe, where they go to, where they stem from, where they ship to, including the Evergreen thing, you guys know about that. That's posted also in my Telegraph page. You'll know what I'm talking about, okay? But he's cleaning it all out because they don't want a central location for corruption, because it's feeding China, it's feeding Ukraine, it's feeding some of the other bad countries that may be in that same area of corruption, even Germany and so on and so forth. So, yeah, it is what it is. Now, I know you're going to have Marfugu family saying, okay, well, it's going to be, it's a lot of military. We're going to World War III. I've already had people say, we're going over there and all this stuff. Well, yeah, you got to send something over there. We already know we've got limited amount of troops over there, but I don't believe it's going to be massive. I think what's happening is we've got an underbelly classification of troops over there of what they call grassroots organization troops. And that's on both sides, the left side, Democratic side, which is those two groups I told you about, as well as the right side. And you got to think about the past with past presidents that were on the Democratic side, like Obama. What happened over there in the Afghan blanket area, okay, where they did the same crap. What happened there? We sent arms, we did training with them, we trained them and all this stuff, and all of a sudden, poof, we got a 360 from them. Well, this is the same scenario over there in Ukraine. Okay. Anyway, I gave you the link for that. I wanted to bring that up because there's been a lot of stuff going on, and I'm like, I'm not, against, and I'm not for any kind of violence and stuff like that. But if it is what it is, it has to be called out for what it is. And I'm really shocked that our local congressmen are not petitioning impeachments right now for all the stuff of damage to the United States. I mean, we have I'm getting tongue-tied. We have damage to the United States for the COVID. We have damage, which is medical-wise, okay? We have damage here financially now because of the oil. We have damage to our economy because of the goods, because of the oil. So, how long, you Republicans, are you going to sit on your ass and not do nothing and not impeach this man? And I know there's a lot of patriots out there and Qs and everything else saying, hold the line, okay? But, sometimes, when you talk a lot of crap, what's the saying? You walk the walk and talk the talk, or something like that, or actions speak louder than words. That's it. Actions speak louder than words, Republicans. So where's your actions? Because I can do your job probably better than you can. I don't go to the golf course, okay? I'm a hard worker. I do my research. Do you? If I had the power to take the action to, do the impeachment, I'll drop a petition right now today. I'll find out how to do it. I'll drop a petition in the United States. I'll get all the citizens, if I have to, in the United States to sign that petition to impeach Biden and Harris and Pelosi and Schiffer and all the rest of them. Because I don't have nothing to lose other than freedom. I've lost. You gotta understand something. I'm in a full military family of all services. I know what it's like to lose somebody. I already know the pain. Been there, did that, done. I also lost a mom and a sister. I know the real pain. Been there, did that, done. If you want a president, you need a president that knows how to survive and to change things and take action. Actions speak louder than words. All right, that's just my commentary, I guess. Anyway, let's get on to the rest of the thing. If you guys got any questions, by the way, go ahead and put it in the comment area, and also share the show. I will be putting links throughout the show, again, just to let you guys know. And okay, Prada, if you're listening to me, I put the link in Twitter. You just press that link in Twitter, and that will take you to Telegram, even on your computer. And if you have a cell phone, you have to go to your Play Store and download the Telegram thing. And you can do it that way and do it that way, or press the link, and it might do it on your phone as well. Okay. Okay. So let's continue with the show. You guys, I don't know if okay, I'll give you a link to, we'll do that in a minute. All right, let's go on. Now, let's talk about, if you guys need the link to my Telegram, it's in my Twitter page. Press it and go. You can scroll down, I don't know, 5 or 6 things, scroll down, or even in the profile area of Twitter, and it's in there. Anyway, and yes, there's different times of the day that I will close it up because I don't want to be bothered. I've got other things to work on. So right now it's open. You can go there. Anyway, let's continue the show. We're talking about the oil situation now with the Russia situation, okay, and how it's going to impact U.S. I'm not talking about other countries. They're in their own problems, okay? We're only going to deal with the U.S. right now. Now, petroleum products, a lot of people don't realize that it's in a lot of different things, like your roads that you pave, okay? Natural gas, which is like the people living up north that need it to keep their houses warm, which, by the way, I got reports from my family up in the north that as of yesterday, I believe it was, that they didn't have enough natural gas to heat their homes. So a lot of them are basically camping out in their house. Oranges up there are like $2 a piece. Okay, and we'll discuss a lot of this stuff, why all this is happening. Now, the other thing is that we have to look at what kind of fuels are from the actual situation of petroleum products. We got butane. Butane is like the ones you put in your lighter fluid. Diesel fuel, that's for truckers. Fuel oil, gasoline, kerosene for your lamps. You know how the Amish turn on their lamps because they don't believe in electricity. Well, that affects them too. Kerosene. Liquefied natural gas, that's for heating homes. Petroleum gas for houses and for homes and like restaurants and things like that. Also, natural gas affects restaurants as well. Propane also affects restaurants and businesses. Other ones are like crystalline wax, napalm, nethylethylene, paraffin wax. So like your candles in your house. If you here's the thing, if you're a prepper, you need to get a lot of candles in your house fast, okay? Because the prices on that stuff is going to go up. So I don't know where you're getting your candles from, but never throw out any candles. They're good for natural disasters, but especially in a Great Depression because your electric could be shut off. Okay? So candles is another thing. Petroleum jelly. You know how they use it for babies, petroleum jelly. Okay, it's in that. Petroleum wax, refined asphalt. So that's like paving road stuff, refined bitumen. And so that's just a basis. This is coming from your Britannia stuff. Now I'm going to give you another link here. You guys got the link on those two. Okay. But here's another thing. I'm going to give you a link for the next set. Please share the show because this show is going to be a survival show going through this, problem with gas and petroleum and all that stuff. Okay. So share the show. The other thing, and we're at, was it 3/4 of an hour here almost. The other thing I want to talk about is food prices. Okay. And it's affecting, Canada as well and other places and so on and so forth. Okay. But I gave you a link there. I want you to go check that out, how it's, looking at prices in other countries. But we're going to look at also, too, wheat, because wheat comes from Russia. Okay? And wheat is in a lot of our products. Anything that is bread and starchy, even our snacks. Okay? So here's the thing. Let's say you got a teenager, right? A teenager or a young adult eats a lot of snacks, like your chips or whatever, crackers or whatever, or your older senior citizens like crackers, okay? It's going to affect that double. Why? Because they have to have petroleum products to make it or ship it or truck it, and then the wheat, okay? So it's affecting wheat and canola crops. Canola is in what? Canola oil, right? Oil is on the shelf for cooking and frying your foods in, besides fueling your cars with, right? So, yeah, I gave you guys all that. You can check that out on that. I'm not going to go into define on that. But here is some other things. And this one is the next link. I gave you 2 on this one. This is the second link I gave you, which is a list of commonly incurred petroleum and petroleum products, meaning that uses petroleum in things. Okay, so let's see here. We already know, gas prices here in Florida. You guys know I'm stationed in Florida, and gas prices are around $4.40 right now, $4.50 in certain areas. I've seen them higher just for the cheapest unleaded. So, yeah. So you've got to think about, this gives you a complete list here of all the different petroleum products that is going to be affected. Now think about, for you men out there or women that might go to an auto parts store to get things, whether it's oil for your car or WD-40 or brake fluid or any of that kind of stuff, transmission oil, you name it. All that is going to be affected. Any chemical wise, basically in an auto parts store is basically going to go up. Okay. Even hydraulic lift oil. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyway, in that second link gives you a complete list of everything involved with that. And remember, diesel trucks that are shipping our food, like your food purveyor trucks that ships to Walmarts or supermarkets or restaurants or whatever, okay, they're incurring all these increases, not only just in their gas, but in all the stuff that makes their engine go, or anything underneath that hood is going to be hit with the price structure of keeping their trucks going, right? Something to think about, right? All right. And I've given you the second link so you guys can research in that one what it's all about. I'm going to give you the next set too, which is, we're coming close to an hour. I'm hoping to get through it all. If not, I'll have to go to a part 2 show. So if I get cut off, guys, I'll start up right away a part 2, which will continue to this one here. All right. So now we got to look at also why the cost of food is going up. Not only are we being affected by our trucks and truck drivers, or if it's being flown in by a plane, because remember, how many people fly the airlines? Guess what? That fuel is going to go up, which means what? Your rates of going to fly somewhere is going to go up. Okay? Besides them shipping things. So think about this. If we had UPS and FedEx and Amazon and all this stuff using trucks and using airplanes to get your goods to your front door, guess what? That goes up. That's all affected. Okay? All right. So here is a list of additives that have what they call petroleum chemical additives in your snacks. These are the actual items. I'm going to highlight in blue. I don't know if you guys can see it. I hope you can. But I'm going to say it out loud. Benzoic acid, sodium benzoate by, well, some of them I can't say, BHA, and then BHT. That's abbreviation for these words. And then TBHQ. These are what they call complex chemicals. Basically, they're used in bought packaged snacks like biscuits, cookies, chips, snacks, anything basically that's a dry good on the shelf. Okay? Unless you can find organic or natural, non-GMO kind of thing, maybe. I don't know. But those are the actual 5 items to look for in the ingredient list on the back of a package that can affect your price to go up. Also, vegetable oils. How many of you guys cook with vegetable oil when you cook? Okay. That's going to be affected. Also, baking. Okay. Like, for example, vanilla. The vanilla extract, vanillin. Okay. That is, if you get vanillin, it's actually made with petrochemicals in it. And you got to watch that in your spices too. Okay. Extracts, spices, all that stuff, anything that you bake with kind of thing. that's going to be affected, but also anything that you bake with wheat-wise. So, like, let's say you get Jiffy Mix, right? And you're making a biscuit or you're making a muffin or you're making it from scratch from flour. All that stuff's going to be affected, right? Artificial colors and flavorings, too. Also, think about this when your produce, okay, your produce could have the actual herbicide like glyphosate, which is known like Roundup or other things, but you got to watch the fertilizers. The fertilizers have certain chemicals that are petroleum based in the fertilizers that are growing our fruits and vegetables with. Okay, so that's another reason why part of the produce and vegetables are going up because of the petroleum products that they're fertilizing the fields with. But at the same time, they also have to use tractors and trailers and trucks to get the stuff out of the fields with, which is fuel, which makes that go up. Then they got to take the trucks from all that fruits and vegetables that they pick up from the field to a packer place. They've got to process it, and then it goes over to a warehouse, and then it's gone over to a store. See, a lot of the younger population, is like wasting money, and they don't realize where a lot of this stuff is coming from, or they're just, or even the Mexicans, they don't even realize. I mean, I'm sure they realize, but I mean, here's the thing: eating habits are going to have to change. You can't, like the Mexican population or the Spanish population can't sit here and eat a cow. You know what I'm saying? They eat like there's like a golden corral, and they can't do that anymore. They get one plate of food and they better drink a lot of water because that's going to be it. You know what I'm saying? The financial part of it is not going to be there for them to feed themselves the way they used to. Not in this country. Maybe back if they went back home, yeah, maybe they can do it there, but not in this country. But here's the thing. I don't know if, Mexico or Cuba or any of those other Spanish countries are affected by this. It's something that they've got to look into themselves. But for here in the U.S., the cost of everything is going to be so high that, you're going to have to change your eating habits. You maybe eat, steak every night. You're going to have to change it to utility beef if you do beef, if you're lucky to do it. Otherwise, you're going to have to change over to other derivatives like hamburger or pork or chicken that may be less expensive. And you'll be eating a lot of that. In a lot of my stuff, I will teach even cooking on a budget, but on what would happen in a Great Depression. So it'll be kind of like a depression cooking kind of thing. I do have menus and I have other stuff of information from my grandparents that I can hopefully relate to you guys and teach you guys to go through this together with. And I'm hoping to explore that with you guys at another time. So look for my shows on that. But here's the other thing too. Other things on the shelf that may affect, that has petroleum in it that affect our prices going up. Anything pain relieving wise, like aspirin, has benzene in it. And it's a hydrocarbon typically derived from petroleum. Did you know that? So look for benzene and in your painkillers, like if you take Tylenol or aspirin or I don't know, whatever is out there, look for that. Hydrocarbons, benzenes, okay? Also, a lot of people are on the computer. They've got CDs and DVDs and they watch movies and stuff like that. Guess what? Even if you make your own, all the blank disc, let alone the stuff that's got stuff on it, is going to go up. Why? Because the compact discs were created with petroleum-based lubricants that need to be made to make the disc spin smoothly. Also, chewing gum. Why? Because guess what? Chewing gum has paraffin wax in it. So you know how you go through the checkout and your kid's like, "Oh, can I have some gum?" That's why you're paying what is it, $1 a pack or more? Because, it used to be 50 cents or something, I mean, I don't know. I haven't bought gum in, I don't know, ages, but I'm just saying, Here's another thing too. It says you also find the paraffin wax in goat cheese, raw fruit, vegetables, chicken nuggets, and so on and so forth. So even like your McDonald's chicken nuggets, I guess they got them in there, which is interesting, I guess. Didn't know that. Clothing. If you see the prices of all you little teenage girls go in the store and getting stuff or getting your prom dress or whatever, okay, that's why your clothing is going to go up. It's going to go up over 60% worldwide. This is not just in the US, but worldwide. Why? Because a lot of our clothing are made out of polyester that has synthetic petroleum fibers in it. And unlike cotton, polyester doesn't biodegrade very good. For the older population, dentures. Why? Because it's made with acrylic resin. Now, I know there's crafters out there too that make things with resin. Guess what? That price on your crafter people are going to go up as well. Also, cosmetics. For all you women and girls out there or people from Avon or whatever, your cosmetics are going to go up. Lipsticks are made with paraffin wax and synthetic wax. Also, chewing gum and scented candles. So all you, Yankee Candle people, okay? Your candles are going to go up too, okay? So a lot of cosmetics, like let's say lipstick, but it could be your eyeshadow, could be your mascara, you name it, it's going to go up because we're being all affected by the same thing. Your rugs, you go to Bed Bath and Beyond, and you go to these home decor stores, and you want to buy a rug. Well, the rugs prices are going to go up because they're mixed with both synthetic and natural fibers. And of course, being synthetic, what is it going to be? Nylon and orphalin, which is petroleum base. Shampoos, also. Anything in a plastic bottle that is like in your cosmetic area or in your like your shampoos and stuff like that, all gonna be affected in that area. Deodorants, they have plastic bottles, all that stuff, because it's made from what? Yeah. And also too, let's see here. Also, maybe some of the solar panels that you guys get, your solar panels, because there's components made with plastic in them. So, of course, that's going to go up. Toothpaste. Did you guys know that petroleum products are in your toothpaste? Unless you guys are brushing with baking soda, you're brushing with petroleum. Yep. So I've given you guys that link, I think. Let me double check and see if I give you that one. I'll give you the next couple here. Any questions, comments, put it in the comment area. I'll check real quick. Organic foods, yes, but you have to read the labels, Randy, okay? Look at the labels. I don't know how important it is to read labels. I don't know how many of you guys have seen the commercial where they had Breyer's ice cream and they had a girl there, and one side had one with like 10, 15 ingredients, and there were some chemicals in it. And then there was Breyer's where it only had 5 ingredients. That's what you got to look for in your organic foods, okay? Look for chemicals in there of any sort, or additives, or things that preserve it with, okay? Reading labels is 100% on right now, because here's the thing. They're going to raise food prices to the level of organic food. Probably even higher. I'm going to guess. Here's my opinion now, but I believe from what I'm seeing on oil prices and the way they're doing their thing, I think overall commodities on actual food prices made with petroleum will supersede organic pricing. And it'll probably be cheaper to go grocery shopping at an organic or a natural health food store or grocery store than it is going to a regular supermarket. That's what I'm predicting in the future. And eventually, like I say, it'll be less expensive that way, but they're still going to raise their prices as well because you got to have trucks to bring their stuff in as well. And just to give you a heads up, I was in a organic supermarket a while back, not too far back, maybe a week ago. And I did see prices on produce just teeny bit above where they're at right now in regular supermarkets in Florida. Not by very much, though. And if they keep increasing the oil prices, I can basically say it would probably be the other way around. You probably might see a change the other way, maybe. So we'll see. I don't know. It's a wait and see, but I have a feeling it'll probably be prices go higher at a regular grocery store than it is an organic, natural health food grocery store. That's my take. So, all right, I gave you that one. Let's see what else here. All right, I gave you the last two links real quick in the show. And this gives you, I gave you a couple PFD files. One of them here, which is your second to last one here on your link, or the first one on your link, on what I gave you underneath, I believe. Let me check your links, guys, real quick. Okay. Yeah, Prada, I'm not sure on that one. I've done some research, but it's not for this show right now. All right. So I've given you a PFD file. It's the first link, I think, that's scrolling down on the bottom of your page. This one is a PFD file from the USDA. And this explains the role of fossil fuel in the U.S. food system and the American diet. So basically, they're going to show, in this, it actually talks about how it affects our crops, our farming, our grocery stores, our packing plants, our warehouses, etc., and so on. Let me see if I can give it to you, because I'm not going to go through the whole thing. This is for your reading. I'm giving you the information basically on a silver platter for you to read. All right. So here is a grid real quick. And they're showing you basically wholesale and retail is going to be affected the most. Then the packing plants the next. And then food service, which is like restaurants. And then farm production and then processing. So these are the 5 areas that it's going to impact the industry in the U.S. Okay. Let's see what else here. And here's the thing that Biden doesn't know, and all his little Green Deal people and stuff. For what they run out of the White House there on emissions is they're not even erasing their own carbon trails. Okay. And that's for one of you guys to go down the rabbit hole and check out what they use and feel, how much food comes in, how much food goes into there, how much they're throwing out for waste, etc., and so on. And this is not counting even the electronic stuff or the paper stuff. This is just food and fuel for that, and the people that bring it in and stuff like that. But anyway, this gives you a complete report of everything on this, and this is part of the necessary thing, because here's the thing. I have Elon Musk on my Twitter, and he does great innovation ideas, and I think I'd be a great innovation idea person for him in his company because I have a lot of ideas that are going to be in my head that probably be worth billions of dollars. I just need someone to be there to help me investment wise to deal with it and to make it and protocol it and patent it and etc. and so on it, But I wish, Elon had a place here in Florida where I could work for him and do his um, research and give him ideas on stuff because you know how he's come out with, different vehicles and stuff like that. And you need money and backing for that. Well, I've got other stuff that could basically sideline um, the whole fossil fuel food system situation. A lot of ideas, but I'm not going to say because I'm keeping it closed-lipped, basically. I guess I'll have to take it to my grave unless he approaches me on it. But anyway, so this PFD is there for them. And then this other one that I gave you, the second link, is did you know that we eat petroleum? This is the same thing about the food thing. Candy, packaged baked goods, mints, breath sprays, laxatives, snack foods like chips and all that stuff. Okay? Petroleum oils. Let's see what else. That's another article. Okay. So if you buy any of this stuff at the store, this is the stuff that has petroleum products in it. Additives. Okay. That's why it's going up in price. I know I have a father, he likes certain chips and he likes certain snack things, and he's like, I'm paying $5 for this. And there's only half a package. It's like blown up with air. But it's like, $1 or $2 more a package. Well, you're paying for the petroleum products that make the actual stuff inside your bag. Not mentioning the bag itself that's made with it as well. But anyway, I hope this gives you a little incentive to watch more closely at the grocery store or your retail store for things. Start reading tags on your clothing, read tags on your medicines, which, by the way, there is medicines, even if the doctor prescribes it to you, that has petroleum products. Be careful and watch that. Also, there is petroleum in a lot of the over-the-counter medicines and vitamins and supplements and things like that. Be careful with that. Food, clothing, things to cook with, cooking pans. So you're going to say, okay, after all this, now, Boho, what do we do? Where do we go to shop? Well, here's the thing. I hate to say this. It is what it is. But you guys better start thrift shopping. Go to your thrift stores. Start buying secondhand stuff. Okay? Because here's the thing. Here's how we're going to get on the elite. You ready for my secrets? Are you listening to this really, really closely? I'm going to reveal a little bit of the elite secrets right now. And as I go on to the other shows, I'm going to reveal other ones. But the elite are so rich that they usually turn out and throw out a lot of their household goods, whether it's furniture or pots and pans or TVs or whatever. They throw a lot of that to the curb sometimes. So you might have to go curb shopping. Okay? That's part of your prepping survival stuff. Prepping, know your schedule of your garbage dump days, and then just before the garbage man comes by, go around your neighborhood and check it out and see what everybody's throwing out. And if it's something you can use, there you go. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. But if you can't find it at the curb, then this is the other part of the secret. You go to your thrift shops. Like if you have a Salvation Army or a Goodwill or maybe a mom and pop kind of thrift shop, go there, because usually not only do they have clothing, but they'll have anything that you need for inside your place that you're staying, whether it's a house, apartment, a van, whatever, okay? They'll have it. Now, for your food, here's the other thing. check and see if you have in your town some kind of scratch and dent store or a discounted overstock kind of store in your area. Here in Southwest Florida, we have something called Ollie's, and Ollie's has a lot of that overstock stuff. Those prices there are going to be cheaper than going to a regular grocery store on food and certain items that are household goods that are new. If you want to buy new, if you want secondhand and you want to save more money, that's on you. Okay. Usually the preppers want to do the secondhand thing because they don't want to spend any more than they have to. Okay. Also, there's an area here in Southwest Florida called Big Lots. Go there because they have a lot of food in there that's cheaper. Okay. Now, here's the thing. You're going to say, well, a lot of these scratch and dent places or places you get food have even your dollar store, like you got Dollar General and Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree is like now $1.25 for food. Get that. Okay. I know it's a quarter more, but it's at least cheaper than the grocery store sometimes. Depends on watch it. You know, you're going to have to do your stuff, really watch your stuff. But we're going to go into the food thing on another show, where to go to compare your pricing before you spend any money on gas going it out. I'll do that on another show, but not on this one. Anyway, check out those stores and watch your curb. Thrift stores for items that you need on your back or in your house. Food items, go to your overstock or scratch and dent places. And also, another thing too, look for in your regular grocery store. Sometimes they have a clearance area or a little rotating thing of just clearance items. Sometimes checking that too. That will help your pantry out, save money. Let me think what else. Let me see. Oh, I wanted to tell you about the dates on food. A lot of people in the U.S. think that once something goes expired on dry goods, that it's not good anymore. Well, it is. Usually you have up to 3 months after an expiration date. Okay. So even if you go to the scratch and dent store and it gives you like until the end of the month, that's still good up to 3 months after that expiration date on your canned goods and other things. So be careful, but watch it, and we'll give you more updates and deal with the food thing and help you guys survive with the food thing a little bit more. And if you guys got any ideas on other shows to help you guys out there, put it in my comment area. Otherwise, if there's not any other questions, let me see. All right, let's see here. Okay, Prada says the FDA requires only one ingredient to be organic to be labeled organic. Well, it is what it is then. All right, so anyway, so I hope you guys use this information, use the links that I give you down below. If there's not any other questions, if there's any other questions, put it in there now, because we're about ready to go. And keep tuned to my my Twitter and my Telegraph page. If you're not a follower on either or, get to be, because I'm not going to be doing shows very often. I'm very busy. And if I do anything, it would probably be more on the Telegraph than the Twitter, but I'm going to try to do both. But pay attention to that. If you don't know where to go for my Twitter or my Telegraph page, look into my YouTube channel under my profile, and they'll give you the Twitter link. Once you get to the Twitter page, in the Twitter page has the link to my Telegraph page. Okay. And I'm not here to hurt anybody or harm anybody or say anything bad, but I think all information for a global survival situation on this situation right now that's happening is necessary. I don't care what the UN thinks. I don't care what Soros thinks. I don't care what anybody else thinks. We're in this together, and we got to do it. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, and make sure you keep the armor of God on you and keep praying up as well. Till next time, this is Boho with the info. We're out.